Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Breakout Trading Answer, the show where we talk about all things breakout trading. And of course, joining us today, as usual, is special guest, Mr. Breakouts himself. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Tomas Nesnidal.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. Welcome, everyone. Welcome and good morning. Good morning, afternoon, good evening, everyone who's already here. And that was you're being full of enthusiasm considering it's 6 a.m. in Australia.
5
It's going
5 a.m.
Oh, 5. It's going to be
Yes.
a great day. It's going
It's
to be
going to
great
be a
day.
great day. Absolutely.
Yes.
We've got a couple of hellos in the chat. G'day, Alan. Hey, Neil. Good to see you here. So, Thomas, what are we talking about today? I'm super excited. We're extending the series.
So we have another episode of the How to
Yes.
Stop Losing Money Trading. This one is quite timely because, last episode I shared that I've been working on some new ideas, trading ideas recently. Because after more than 2 years, I finally have a new flow of prolific ideas, which is so weird, like it stopped for 2 years and I didn't have any flow of new ideas, and all of a sudden it's happening again. So I'm taking advantage of it because we never know how long it will last. This window of opportunity to come up with something new. And I had to do quite a lot of testing last couple of weeks, and I realized a very important thing that there's a when you do this test, you always compare your framework and your approach to your trading work and analysis to what you used to do maybe 5 or 10 years ago, how it has changed, how it has evolved. So it's like a good opportunity for reflection. And I really realized that 10, 15 years ago, when I had an idea, spontaneous idea like I've had recently, I used to just sit down and test all these ideas and a little bit jump from this idea to this idea to this combination to this permutation. And now I realize that my work around new ideas is really highly conceptual, and I always try to the first thing I try to do with this new idea is to think, how can I put it into a conceptual model? Because then once I can sketch this idea into a conceptual model, I can move forward much quicker with much more efficiency and with much better results. So I thought, well, this is really important thing about successful trading, like always working with this model in the head. And then I thought, well, this is also one of the reasons why a lot of traders, they lose money, because they don't even think about this necessity to think in terms of model instead of just a single strategy. So that I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in details today.
Excellent, excellent. So, as Thomas mentioned, we're doing a How to Stop Losing Money series, and the idea behind that is we're going to address some of the common challenges that traders face and solutions to how to address those. Because trading is a game where you want to make some money. Obviously, you don't want to work your butts off and lose money, but I just want to say a hello in the chat and a congratulations, because I thought I was doing pretty well turning up at 5 a.m. But look at this. Where's Sean here? Sean, 3 a.m. from Singapore. Hello, guys.
Oh, wow.
Amazing
That's
work.
some serious dedication. Hero of the night. Hero of the day.
Yeah. And we've got Mark here
Sean,
from
awesome.
Australia as well. So, g'day, Mark. Good to see you. 5 a.m. for Mark. And we got some people from the States. So, 5 a.m. here. Excellent. Well, thanks for turning up in the middle of the night. And I'm sure you're going to get a lot of value from what
guys.
Thomas is going to share with us
Amazing
today.
dedication.
So, Thomas, as you mentioned, we're talking about winning trading models. The slide should be up on the screen, I think. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Working.
So I guess maybe it might be good to start with some definitions. What is a model? What is a strategy? I think the two kind of get interchanged quite loosely, so there could be some confusion. So can you perhaps start off with explaining the difference?
Yeah. So if we can move to the next slide, it's quite simple. but it's quite important and profound as well.
Hmm.
So usually a strategy is a set of rules to enter and exit markets. And obviously that's we all have to work with. So every trader knows what is a strategy. Most traders, they understand this necessity of entry rules, exit rules, nothing new under the sun. Model is a little bit, I would say, above all this. It's like a high picture. It's pretty much a template to create unlimited number of strategies, and it's also a guidance towards specific, let's say, rules that we need to apply when designing these entry rules and exit rules. So literally, it is a template. Now, traders can think, why isn't a strategy enough? Why can I just jump from an idea to idea? Why I need a template? And there's quite a serious reason for that, which is related to losing money in trading. So let me explain. If we move to the next slide, there are a couple of things that we need to consider. So first of all, if our approach is just to come up with a strategy only, quote unquote only, without trading, so first of all, it's a time-consuming process. So without a model, you need to start creating every new strategy from scratch, and that's literally what it is. Because if you don't have a template, if you don't have a model, you're in the point zero each time you want to create a strategy, and you have no guidance. So you're also starting without knowing at least partially where you're going, and this can turn into a very time-consuming, very demanding, very tedious process with very uncertain results. And that's like we all strive on time, and it's not really desirable. And besides, if you don't think model-wise, you don't have this great, amazing potential to develop as a specialist in one area. But there is another aspect to that, which is even more important, which is highly related to losing money in trading. And I'll explain in a second. But first, let me explain what is the model part. So with a proven model, creating new strategies is much faster and less time consuming. So that's the first thing, because you already have this template, you already have this guidance. So you just go and you just pretty much follow this template, and the efficiency of strategy creations multiplies by a huge factor. Now, if the core model is proven, the end result is much more certain and predictable, and that's the important thing to understand. Because if we just move from a strategy to strategy and we do not work with a conceptual approach, which is not proven, we're facing very high level of uncertainty. Whereas if we work with a model which is proven, basically any new strategy that create already has got some built-in level of, let's say, confidence or predictability, because we know we work with something proven. And this is also the reason why it helps or why it mitigates the risk of losing money, which is the topic of this whole series.
Yeah.
How? So when we have a model, what we can really do, because we can create very quickly, not always very quickly, but rather quickly, we can create with the same model, we can create different strategies for different markets and for different time frames. And that means that if we can see and prove that with one model, we can create strategies on multiple time frames and markets and market sectors, we already know that we're working with something which got by itself already kind of a built-in edge. So you can think about it just like massive stress testing. Like we have something that we just proven on such a wide variety of different markets and timeframes that we now we have a core which is rather robust, and it's an edge of itself, and that's why losing money with a proven model is harder than with just standalone strategies, which also can be great. Like no offense here can be absolutely amazing strategies, but a singular strategy doesn't have this aspect of robustness proof like a model which went through many different markets and timeframes, if it makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, some good points there.
Right. So this is the reason why when we want to stop losing money in trading, we need to make also this step back and start thinking in terms of like what we're really doing. And if we're thinking just a strategy wise or a model wise. So if we move to the next slide, then losing money in trading is often a result not just having unproven strategy, but mainly not having a proven model at all upon which we can create these strategies, missing this bigger picture. Or sometimes we can have some conceptual approach, but obviously, if it's a weak, unproven approach, unproven model, then also we cannot expect good results. And often there can be, I met a lot of traders who had kind of an intuitive model because they intuitively was doing the same thing again and again. They just were not able to summarize it and describe it as a framework. So in that case, they were not really working efficiently with their approach. And again, this efficiency, it's once we can describe our approach into a model, the efficiency is reflected in the ability to test on multiple markets and timeframes, and that's where we prove the model and an extra edge. So the absence of model, it's little known but quite important aspect of behind losing money. Now, how do we fix this? Actually, it's not so difficult. If we move to the next slide, the first step is always when we create strategies, or if you have anything that you already built a strategy that works at least a bit, then you need to step back and think, okay, is there a way how we can summarize this into a model? Is there a way how we can create model around this? How can we create a template around this? And then if we can create a template, then we need to see if it's a proven template, proven model. So now we need to multiply this model on different markets and timeframes. We need to scale it on different timeframes and markets and see if it sticks with other markets and timeframes as well. And if it does, we have a proven model, and now we need to master it, which is basically a repetition, tweaking the model and building more and more strategies on different markets and timeframes until we really see the weaknesses, strengths, and we master the whole model. But now once we have a model, it's like we have something which we can. It's a tremendous value, because now this is the real treasure, because now we have something that we can keep using again and again our entire life, hopefully, and that's the real value that we're holding in the hands, because now we can independently work on different markets, timeframes, and it gives us also this confidence of having strong universal base.
Yeah. So you talked a lot about, you mentioned there that you want to test it on a lot of different timeframes and markets to identify if it's a good model. But how exactly do you know if it's a good model? Like, what are you actually aiming for to be able to say, yep, this is a good model?
Right. That's a great question. So what I'm aiming for is that I need to be able, with that particular model, create strategies on as many markets and different time frames as possible. So, for example, I'm just thinking in the past, because I tested a lot of different models, and in the past, one of the models that I tested in the past was built on it was a simple model which was built more on robustness and on what used to be a trend 15 years ago, this 3D optimization charts where you can have, these two independent inputs and net profit, and then you can see the perfect sweet spot and the nearest neighbor. And I had a model which I created on pretty much walk forwarding the 3D chart. So it was, at that time, it was quite enhanced, but I was pretty much walk forwarding this 3D chart. And I thought I had a great model. So I tested. So first I developed it on some indexes, and I got good results. But then when I took the same approach, the same model based on the same idea, and also part of this model was that I only had two optimizable inputs because that's the maximum you can do with these 3D charts. So that was part of the model. But then when I started to test this same approach that seemed to be working really great on indexes on different markets, it completely flopped. I was not able to develop anything outside of indexes. So obviously the whole idea was optimize on indexes only, and that was not a good model. Whereas when I created my first version of the breakout model, I did the same thing, and I realized that with the same model, I was all of a sudden able to create breakout strategies on not all the futures markets, but on the vast majority, maybe 70-80%. Well, not right away, but it was a completely different story compared to my 3D modeling model, and I was able to just take the same model and get results on grains and even stocks and metals and other markets. So then I knew that I have something in my hand which is universal. And once you know you have something which is universal, you're obviously way more motivated to start putting time into it and tweaking it and optimizing. So that's how you know if you have a good model or a bad one.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned that it needs to be universal across markets and timeframes, and it sounds as well like you're talking about simplicity, like the 3D optimization you were talking about. Sounds a little bit complicated, and if you have a simple model, I guess you can automate it and make things a lot easier because you're within a fixed framework. So simplicity, I guess, is one of them, and universal is another.
Yes.
Any others you can think of?
Actually, the 3D chart model was simple as well. It was very simple.
Okay.
It was just, it wasn't complicated at all. It was simple. But it is important point that you brought up, because simplicity, if you have a complex model, it's very hard to test it across different time frames and markets. And you need to do this quickly, because many model ideas will fail. So you don't want to get stuck with one model for 2 years and then realize that it's a crap. So yes, simplicity. So you need to at least the preliminary testing, and once it passes preliminary testing, of course, then you start putting more time into it. Then it's also important that the model needs to be somehow flexible or adaptable. Again, let me give you an example. So, for example, I had a model from a friend of mine, which was a little bit partially based on some ideas from Larry Williams, and he traded these ideas. I don't recall exactly, but it was this typical Larry Williams, third day of week, whatever. I don't remember. But the problem, and it worked great. Problem was that this kind of model was so tied to particular market and to tendencies in a particular market that it was not scalable. And even if you wanted to take this whole idea and put it on a different market, you couldn't, because certain markets like energies, they're driven by some fundamentals or news or whatever, which other markets are not. So it was not scalable. The model was really, there was no flexibility. You could only trade it on natural gas, crude oil, maybe the gasoline, and that was it. So a good model needs to be flexible. It needs to have components which are, I would say, independent of some very specific factors to get to a given market, to a specific market. So it needs to be flexible and adaptable. It needs to adapt to any market and basically any market condition as well. So that's another important requirement. And finally, I like calling that it's the final requirement. It's to have kind of a like niche. I like really being niche in trading. You know that that's why I'm called Mr. Breakouts, because that's my specialization. But I think there's something really profound in niching down and specializing in a very, very specific small area, although breakout trading is not so small, which can help you specialize. And quite frankly, to me, this specialization only happened because of this model, because I went through many models, but then I started to narrow down. And I know traders who were very niche in different areas, and usually these traders are highly successful. So I really believe that having a model which is somehow niche, like breakout trading, can be a big plus as well. And it's definitely more efficient than just jumping from one direction to another one.
Yeah. We've been talking about your model quite a bit. So why don't we have a quick look at your simple breakout trading model?
Yes.
And you can explain. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. So my a lot of viewers, they already know my breakout trading model. It's super simple, but that's it. That's the point. Because it's super simple, it also fulfills all these requirements. It's highly universal. You can apply it even on history data of outside air temperature, literally, because that universal it is. It is very simple. It's flexible, adaptable, because it's got adaptive components like space calculation, which is highly adaptive, and it's highly niche. So all my breakout model is just about having some a point of initiation from which you calculate the space, which is the actual breakout, and then having some good understanding of time impact on the breakout, and having highly relevant filters. Let me repeat, highly relevant. Relevance is always important in every model, because some filters can be totally irrelevant to breakout trading. So all the components inside of a model always need to be relevant to that given model. That's also another part when anybody constructs a model. So he needs to be aware that components need to be relevant to the overall idea. And that's really it. It's very simple. We can talk about it maybe in next episode. What I recommend, just I go through this entire model in a lot of details and examples in the Breakout Trading Revolution book, which we released recently. So again, if some traders don't have a model, this is a proven trading formula. You can create endless strategies with it. So this is where you can the book. But of course, you feel free to think about your own ideas and conceptualize them into a model, or maybe just use this book as a guidance or example what a model looks like. But the point is that once you have a model, the risk of losing money in trading, well, you will have losing trades. Don't get me wrong, you will have losing strategies, but the overall risk of failing in trading drops significantly, because, as I said at the very beginning, having a proven model, it's an edge of itself. Besides, it gives you also a lot of psychological confidence, which is important as well.
Yeah, I think that's important. We've got a comment in the chat from the King Calibra. G'day, King. Cool, I understand what you mean. I already work with a model, but didn't know it till now.
Right, yeah, that's a great comment, yes, because quite frankly, when I started with my breakout trading, I was working with a model and I didn't know it as well. As I described in the book, the whole history. One day I had to conceptualize it, and it was quite an effort to conceptualize it, because, as I said, yeah, we do it intuitively. But then if you feel like you're doing this intuitively already, you really need to conceptualize it, because once you conceptualize it and put it on a drawing board, then the real magic will start happen. Then everything will be leveraged tremendously, and then the real efficiency will come in place. So it's really important to spend serious quality work on conceptualizing and drawing your model, putting it on a paper.
Yeah. And I know you've got some examples in the book there, but do you have one on a? Actually, I do see you've got one on a slide here.
Yeah. So I was about to say, of course, the biggest proof of a proven model, like the biggest one, is if you share the model with other people and or other traders, and they start having success with it as well. So that's always that you have a proven model. So in the book, in the Breakout Trading Revolution book, we have a lot of successful case studies and examples, and these are real people, real examples. And this one comes from
me.
Guess yes. I was about to say guess who. This one actually comes from these are audited results, comes from Andrew. I will not say anything more, because you can read all the details in the book. If you want to share more, Andrew, feel free, but I think that everybody who's already intrigued into having model should go through all these examples, because we have plenty of them in the book.
Yeah. That's one of the parts I like about the book and the model is that, it's been proven on a lot of different markets, and most people trade. I think the US markets and maybe some European ones. I trade quite a few around Asia as well, Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, Australia, futures markets, and the model works there as well. So I think that really goes to show that it is universal. I understand from our discussions, Thomas, that you've never tested the model on those markets before.
No, never, ever. No. And also in the book, we also have examples from Scandinavian markets. We also have examples from Russian markets. So with this model, as other traders are using it and sharing results with us, it works literally on anything, which is amazing. And it's simple.
Yeah. So I've got a question here from Beef Stew. G'day, Beef. Good to see you again. What's your approach on back testing a model with a fixed entry, fixed exit, fixed position size? Basically, no optimized parameters.
It goes back a little bit to my early efforts of having just two optimizable inputs with my 3D charts. I came through a lot of research and came to a conclusion that most models with no optimizable parameters are not robust enough long term, which makes a lot of sense, because markets are changing quite rapidly and we need to be able to reoptimize. And at least for my own model, which is the breakout model, I have a lot of research that proves that having between, I think it's 3 to 5 optimizable inputs, something like this. Again, all the details are in the book. And regularly optimizing them gives the highest chance of success. So we would probably have to talk about particular model, but yeah, I'm a fan of having optimizable inputs and reoptimizing them regularly to adapt, because adaptability is part of the good model and our optimization is part of the adaptability.
Yep. Well said. Have you got a copy of the book, Beef? If not, there's the link there. It's a good read. It's only $10 or $12 or something, so it's well worth having a look at. Here's a question from Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Good morning, Mark. Hope you've had your coffee for the morning. If a trading model spits out a strategy with no parameters, would you still test it with walk forward optimization?
Well, there's no point if it doesn't have any input parameters. But I don't have any strategies without input parameters. I do have some parameterless filters, but I always do have some input parameter. But then, of course, if there's no parameter, there's no reason to put it through WFO.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Mark. That's all I can see in the chat, Thomas. So, do you have a quote for today?
I do, and a highly
You do?
relevant one, because
Okay.
we're talking relevancy. So this one says, follow one course until successful. So guys, if you like it, if you agree, just please give us like, so we know that you like it. But that's exactly what we were covering today. It's really important to follow one course, and if you follow one course, if you think within this precise proven box, then you have much higher, at least from my experience, much higher probability of a success. So decide what the course is and they stay with it.
Yeah, I think this one is super important because we see a lot of traders who just like jump around between one thing and another, and I think it's a human tendency to want to try lots of different things. I know I get it personally, and I have to fight the urge sometimes to say no, leave it. But I think the jumping around between things really impacts traders because they never really get good at anything, right? They're just like a what's the saying? Jack of all trades, master of none. And I mean, we've talked about specialization a lot before, and I know you talk about it quite a lot in the book and the benefits of it. And I think really focus is something that really impacts a lot of traders, and they probably don't even realize it because they put a little bit of time into one thing and then jump to another, and that hurts them in the end because they don't really become good at anything.
Great point, and it's very true. And I have to fight the urge sometimes myself as well. Like just because when we start with something, we all of a sudden realize how many possibilities we have, and we want to explore all the possibilities. But there's not always there's a benefit in exploring all possibilities, because sometimes we just need to find at least some partially workable solution so we can move to the next step. And actually, the potential is moving to the next step, not in exploring all the possibilities in one particular step. So I do fight the urge quite often as well. That's quite common.
Well, I think you just dropped a super good gold nugget there right at the end. So that was a good bit of advice. So if you enjoyed what Thomas shared today, please give us a thumbs up on the video. It helps YouTube to figure out if our content is good enough to share with other traders, which hopefully it is. And then don't forget to also hit the subscribe and bell button so that you're notified when we release new content, because we've got lots of new great stuff coming up in the future. So please do that. And also if you have any... Sorry, Thomas?
Sir Andrew. Yeah, I was just about to say, also your like is also great inspiration and motivation for us to keep going with this show. So we know that you like it. That's the feedback that we get from you. So it's very important for us.
Yeah, exactly. And also if you've got any questions for us or comments, you can you can post them below the video in YouTube, and we'll see those, or you can submit your trading questions to our support team, support@bettertraderacademy.com. And Kate will make sure that we see those. So I might just quickly put the link for the book back up on the screen as we wrap this one up. Thomas, do you have any closing words? Oh, we got a question from Jace. Sorry, Jace, I only missed your question here. Let's put this one up. Will you be offering a print edition of your new book?
It's in the pipeline, but no end date yet, so can take some time. So maybe I recommend getting the PDF meanwhile, and later on, hopefully we will have a printed version as well.
Yep, exactly. All right, so there's the link, and I'll put it in the chat one more time. All right, Thomas, any closing thoughts, comments?
Yeah, I have just organization, something organization-wise to share. Actually, we on Better Trader Academy, we created a new web link where we share all the upcoming events, because we not only have these shows, we also have some other events. So please, if you're curious to learn more about our events, this is the link, bettertraderacademy.com/events, and all the upcoming events are there, and don't miss on anything important or anything that could help you on your own trading journey.
All right, well done. Thank you, Thomas. There's also a link at the top of the website as well, so you'll see an events link there. If you don't like to type links like me, I'd rather click. So yeah, thank you very much, Thomas, for sharing the that super valuable information on building a trading model. And I don't see any other questions or comments in the chat, so it looks like you covered it off pretty well. So thanks everyone for joining us today, and we'll be doing another one same time in 2 weeks from now. Thomas, do you want to share some little a little secret on, or a little teaser on the next show, or do you want to keep it a complete secret?
I want to complete a complete secret.
Okay, so there you go. You got to turn up next week.
A small teaser. We will cover quite interesting article that I received about trading just recently, and yeah, we will have something interesting to talk about for sure. Like always, that's what I can promise.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to see what that one is. You got me intrigued as well. So thanks everyone for turning up today.
Thank you very much.
And have a good week.
Trading.
Cheers. Happy trading.
Bye-bye. Thank you.